ladies and gents, welcome back. We are live once again here for the EUS Challenger Series number 11. I have subbed in for Spuddington. My name's Metis, and I'm going to be joined by Pulse once again. This time around, it's going to be Team Dignitas UK facing off against Smart People. This has the makings of a pretty awesome match, I have to say, Pulse.
Yes, indeed. Of course, Smart People made it to the finals of the last Challenger Series number 10. Actually faced down Copenhagen Wolves incredibly strongly, picked up one game, and actually were fairly decent in the other two as well. So, very strong team. And Dignitas UK have maybe been a little bit off their game, I think it's fair to say. But now subbing in Samwise for the AD carry, we'll see how he works out. He, of course, is, he was part of Animate, who were essentially Dignitas' rivals for a very long time.
Yeah, they've even faced off against one another in the I-Series finals, haven't they, where Animate came out on top. So both UK-based teams, and we'll be filling in the gaps. And I am curious here, Pulse. I know you've got quite a lot of contact with Team Dignitas UK. Is Samwise coming in for a reason? How is Smoky Lemon looking? Is he still in the lineup? Has he been subbed out? What's going on?
I think this is a test more than anything. I haven't heard too much about it. It's been fairly kind of secretive about their current decision on changing up their AD carry, because of course Tudor was their original AD carry and he was in a trial period himself, and Smoky Lemon took his place because they felt he was better. And now they are looking to sub in Samwise, so we'll see how this works out. Again, he is a sub for now, but we'll see if he, solidifies himself in that lineup. But let's take a look at some of the bans. Shen, Jarvan, and Caston. Again, everything's looking so far like blanket bans. Aryan and Caston are more preference more than anything, and Caston is exceptionally strong. I know we actually saw it a couple times, I believe, from Smart People. So again, makes sense. It was one of the champions they brought out in their champion pool, and I believe Metas, who were casting that game with me, where they had two assassins, and it was Kassadin, I think, and Kha'Zix.
Yes, that's absolutely correct. And it was Exeter was using Kassadin, so that is a straight up ban in his face. You have a look on the other team. Cook My Sock plays a mean Ares, and that's going to be focused as well. But we've also seen Cook My Sock using characters like Fears, like Twisted Fate. The guy can play pretty much any mid laner, and as we say to his Twisted Fate, he has been locked in alongside Elise. So a very strong champion for him regardless, and again Elise slipping through the cracks, and I'm always quite surprised because I have to feel that Elise is one of those top tier picks, I should say, right now in League of Legends.
Yeah, she's disappeared a little bit purely because of the nerfs she received, and her spidlings, in fact, the total HP has been almost, or more than halved, so they're no longer those big damage sponges, because before I think they had something around the lines of 550 health each, so that's 5 times that. That's a lot of HP as damage sponges, and they're very easy to get back up again. They're just one spell and they're back. So again, it made sense for that nerf, and that has actually hurt Elise significantly, but Elise has been picked out. So again, I still feel she's very strong, especially as a laning bully, and obviously the scaling has been slightly reduced, but nice to see it come out here.
Oh, interesting. Nitrix is hovering over Kennen right now, so they already have their mid laner. Elise has already been locked in, so thus I would assume Elise will be in the jungle if that Kennen does get locked in. Of course, Elise could feasibly play support as well, but it has been a while since we've seen that happening, especially as Yarrow is switching between Blitz and Caitlyn. So it's going to be interesting to see which one he goes down for. But regardless, Zac has also been picked up, so 2 big picks right away in these first 6. And lots of engage here, Pulse. You've got Zac and Sona on the same lineup. That's pretty dangerous.
Yeah, attack of the Zac, and so many times we've seen Smart People bring in wildly different compositions. So, well, we're not entirely sure we can entirely read them. Well, we see the Sona and we see the Zac, and it's like, okay, maybe it's a big AoE team composition with mobility from Ezreal. Makes sense, but then again, they could easily change it into like a poke composition and then engage after that. So, we'll see what happens with the rest of the pickups, but they don't have like a particular style of gameplay I've seen. They're very adaptable in that sense, very versatile. But from Dignitas UK, they are more, slightly more readable, but I don't think we've seen either of these teams face up against each other yet. I know Giants and Dignitas faced off against each other in Gfinity, but now with Giants collapsing and now with 2 of their members in Smart People, we'll see how this new lineup fares.
And also, not to put you on the spot, Pulse, because I know your memory is like mine, absolutely horrific, but I am sure that Dizhack was not playing yesterday for Smart People, and I'm trying to rack my brain to kind of the process of
yeah.
elimination to figure out who he's actually coming in for here. I can't remember who it is. I'm completely blanking on this. I think it was their support.
Yes, right. So Samix was their AD carry. Who was their support? If anyone in chat can fill us in, we'd be more than grateful. But it was literally only yesterday, so I'm not. Our memory is absolutely spectacular.
Oh, could it have been Limits of Reversal?
Was he playing for them? Maybe.
Oh, that's X and Nexus. Rydell, of course it is.
There we go.
Oh, good go producer comes to the rescue. So, yeah, Dizhack is coming in for Rydell. So again, in that sense, both teams actually have a substitute filling in. So going to be very interesting to see how that works out. What we haven't mentioned yet is that Artratos has just picked himself up a Master Yi in jungle. And that's terrifying.
Yeah, and someone in chat just saying, do smart people sucks? No, they do not. In fact, they are an incredibly good team indeed, and now bringing out the Yi pick, something I've not seen from them before. We did see Overpower play him from X and Nexus, and in fact went huge. I think he was like 1d4 in quadra killing them at some point. It was absurd. I think you were casting that game with me, in fact, as well, Metas. So we will have a rehost, maybe... Quinn is Renekton. Okay, thank you for our producer once again, always stepping in when we don't quite have the information to hand. And right, okay, so Yi could be very interesting. Not entirely sure where he's going to be played. Personally, I think he's a mid laner. I don't think he fares well in jungle and top lane. Top lane, because he gets shut down by essentially every bruise he could throw at him. And also in the jungle, because he doesn't quite get the farm he needs, and getting those kills is even harder. And in the mid lane, he has the chance to outplay people by essentially becoming invulnerable when those big hitting ultimates that come in. So, the likes of a Gragas ultimate, you could feasibly dodge with your Alpha Strike.
Yeah, the only thing is, though, is that Artratos picked him up, so I'm not sure if it is going to be in jungle or in the mid, because, I mean, jungle, you do get a fair bit of farm. You can get some fairly nice ganks kicking off if you have good gank lanes, and that was one of the issues that we saw yesterday, where Lee Sin from Artratos was trying his best to make plays happen, but unfortunately the lanes he was ganking in were just pretty much impossible to do so. So seeing that Jerome has picked up Zac at top lane, it's really going to come down to whether Exter is going to be going for the Master Yi, or if it will therefore be in the jungle. Definitely one to watch out for, Pulse. Very interesting. And also Morello, it has came up on the League of Legends Reddit page that they have been discussing the idea of kind of switching Yi back around again, because they realize that he is so damn strong right now. He is just a stomp kind of champion. And yes, Artratos has locked it in, so it's going to be Yi jungle.
Interesting. I'm very interested to see how he fares in the jungle in this type of scenario. Orianna coming out, of course, so will be in the mid lane, and you've got the classic, the Zac into the Orianna, the classic ball delivery system. But in the jungle, he has the opportunity to get those kills and therefore be exceptionally strong. Personally, and this is my opinion along with Spuddington, I think that Sword of the Divine is really good on him. Haven't seen it too yet in competitive play, but it gives him burst potential and the ability to reset his Q, and he can reset his Alpha Strike at the same time. It makes him super reset champion. Lots of buttons to press, but at the same time gives him the ability to literally jump from person to person. So we'll see how this turns out, and very excited to see how both of these teams fare against each other.
Yeah, very true, and lots of buttons to press, as you say, but this is Challenger Series, dude.
Yeah.
This is the place the big boys play if you don't take LCS into consideration. These are the next step up. So these players are more than capable of making phenomenally huge plays. Smart People are a very good team. Yes, they lost to Copenhagen Wolves yesterday 3-1, but dude, Copenhagen Wolves just went 2-0 comfortably in the last best of 3 that you were casting, Pulse. They're an awesome team. But either way, we are on a delay right now, ladies and gents, so we're going to be back in about 3 minutes, and then we'll be live into game number 1 between Dignitas UK and Smart People. See you soon.
Is it madness?
Hey guys, welcome back to EUS Challenger Series number 11 with the second best of 3, the first game in fact of Dignitas UK, shaping up against Smart People, both of these teams sporting subs, so we'll see how this works out. I am Pulse, I'm joined by Matters. How's it going?
It's going awesome, dude. Really looking forward to this game. And just before we do jump into this, I've been notified from our producer that with the international, the Dota tournament, kind of the World Championship Dota tournament that's on Twitch right now, the servers are a bit overloaded, which could be one of the reasons why you are currently lagging in Twitch. Twitch doesn't even work for me right now, so I feel your pain, guys. But doesn't look like, to get back into the League of Legends action that we're currently watching here, Paul, doesn't look like we're going to have any early aggression. Both teams just pretty much happy to be on their side of the jungle.
Yes, indeed, and probably just shoving down a few aggressive wards, getting some early vision, and Dizhack going to put that down for Smart People. And I think the most interesting thing to first point out is that Elise has picked up a Doran's Blade. So Elise probably won't be going for like an AD build. In fact, we'll probably just go for the standard AP one. And also tanky, going like high magic penetration, and also because she's in the top lane, might well be going with a Sunfire cape if they choose to do the split pushing, or also if if there's high AD on the enemy team, which there is with the Master Yi in the enemy jungle, and if he gets rolling, it would definitely be a fantastic pickup with the magic pen already picked up by Elise. But what the Doran's Blade allows you to do is it's very similar to that time we saw someone pick up a Doran's Blade on Ahri in the mid lane. Because her auto attacks are very responsive, in fact, she's not even in the top lane, what am I saying, she's in the jungle. But because auto attacks are so responsive, it's great for harassment. But in the jungle, gives more trading power, and because you're going to get help off your team anyway, you can really swing it in the jungle. We see it a lot in Korea, mostly on Lee Sin. It's interesting they're doing on Elise.
Yeah, and you say mostly on Lee Sin. We've seen Shook do this time and time again. The likes of Diamond Prox do it as well in the LCS when he's playing champions like Udia. So it is kind of like, early levels is going to do a fair amount of damage, plus the health that you get on top of it's always a nice little thing. But interestingly enough here, Pulse, we do have some lane switch-ups coming about. The duo lane is going to be residing in mid against Exeter. This is going to be pretty difficult for him to deal with. Again, Caitlyn is just a push, ram it down your throat kind of champion who is going to take your tower as soon as possible.
Yeah, excellent point, Messers. By swapping them up into the mid lane, they're going to be able to push considerably faster than the Ezreal and Cerner lane. Well, that's what they're hoping to do. And it's kind of interesting they picked up the Twisted Fate to 1 versus 2, because they were the instigators of this, and Cookmysoft's going to take some punishment. But it's interesting, he should have the wave clear, theoretically, with the red card and the wild card coming in. That should be enough to clear out those waves and see it underneath turret. He's also picked up the Crystalline Flask and some pots, so he is obviously, they were setting up for this from the offset. By having them in mid lane, hopefully they should be able to pick up this turret before the bot lane pushes in that one. In the 1 versus 2 situation, then Cookmysoft might be able to actually land a gold card and go in for, or set up a gank for Impaler. They know they'll be going for this 3-man dive. This is very typical of most teams. Impaler finds himself Atritus around corner though. Just does some damage with Venom's Bite, doesn't probably over the wall, but Atritus starts trading off. Elise is a very strong duelist, and Yi is not in the early game. CookMySock, well, will go for the flash with the gold cards, connects the wild cards as well. Impaler just needs one auto attack. In fact, the Neurotoxin picks it up, and first blood is taken by Impaler. Looking for more blood though. CookMySock doing some damage to Dishack, and this is great for the bot lane.
Yeah, and it was interesting that Architros went back in, because this is one of the main strengths that taking Doran's Blade first gives you, Pulse, that you are very strong at dueling, especially when you're, using Elise, who by definition is a very strong duelist. So you put them together, and Master Yi must have been feeling a bit too confident in his abilities to pick up that kill, and as a result does actually go down for first blood. Fair enough, the flash was burnt from CookMySock, getting through and gold carding, but still the damage has been done. That first blood is just going to elevate Elise very quickly into this mid-game kind of scary position. Going back and looking at how many items she's actually just built up there, Pulse, it's not going to be good news for smart people.
Yeah, not at all. And this is one of the reasons I was concerned about them putting Yi in the jungle, because he doesn't have trading power, his ganking ability is not great, he doesn't have any CC, and his ganking lanes anyway don't really have any hard CC apart from maybe Zac with the Let's Bounce and also the Elastic Slingshot. He doesn't really want to be going for that. So for me, the Yi pick is one, very risky, because he has to get to the late game and get good farm and get ganks off, which are going to be very difficult because of the aforementioned points. Meanwhile, top lane though, Nitrox drops low, Ignite comes up from Drom, looks for the follow, Unstable Matter comes down. Will he be able to follow up one more second on the Elastic Slingshot? Will be charging it up, and he's looking for this dive. This is very risky, but the stretching attack picks it up, and he's put into his passive. One of them will be taken down by the tower, and he starts laughing, which is one of those things you can do in the passive, and I absolutely love it.
That was just such perfection from Jerome, knowing exactly how much damage he could put out, because that was literally down to the millimeter, Pulse. That was like, if you make one mistake diving like that, it can backfire, an egg could be well and truly smeared on your face. Extra has been called out of position from Impaler, who does a nice chunk of damage with the double buffs, but will be able to pull himself back. And the other thing we haven't mentioned just yet there, Pulse, is that with Master Yi dying so soon, that has just allowed Impaler to have double buffs for that little bit longer. So that's just more bad news added into the mix. Architros has been caught again here. He could be going down. There is so much damage. The exhaust has been used as well. Here comes Caitlyn. The Alpha Strike will get rid of that, and also the shield. But either way, that's going to be the kill coming in for Elise, and that's the second kill coming in here. She's just going to be getting so damn strong.
Yeah, that was a fantastic point, in fact, Messes. Because she has the double buff, she can still afford to be an aggressive counter jungler. And because she's such a good duelist, that's basically the perfect early game scenario for a jungler like Elise. Just currently subbing in for the bot lane for CookMySock, and he probably will go mid lane now that they've taken the middle turret. They can swap up into the 2 versus 2 lane and then kind of neutralize that. And because Caitlyn's currently slightly ahead on farm and will be picking up the BF sword, might be able to get some damage onto that turret as well. But as a result of all this aggression, Yi is very far behind, 0 and 2. This is a very risky play, even in team composition, and it just has, not only does it look dodgy on paper, it doesn't seem to be working in execution as well.
Yeah, and going back to what I was talking about with Morello on the Reddit there for League of Legends, where he was saying that they wanted to change Yi up a bit because he snowballs very hard at kind of low elo play, but at the high elo, such as Challenger, he's not quite the same. So you are seeing the result of that. Yi needs a very good start. He needs to snowball. If he goes behind, he's just going to do absolutely no damage until the very late stages. So he is in desperation mode right now, Pulse, whereas Elise is just chugging along, having a good time. Janna has been caught out of position, and the aforementioned Elise is there and waiting. Going to be tower diving in. Twisted Fate in the meanwhile does pop off his destiny. Nice repel used. That should be this hack going down finally to the Piltover Peacemaker, but Elise actually falls as well from the Sona, and now Ezreal's trying his best to pick up the pieces. The shockwave comes in, and that's going to be the double kill. They just waited around a bit too long, Pulse.
That was the sweetest shockwave I've seen in a while, Messes. Instant double kill came down. And yeah, Elise, it was a good dive theoretically, and in fact now the Spiderlings come down at the same time as Elise, so the tower will prioritize the champion over the Spiderlings, which was another issue that Elise had. So she was away from the turret, that didn't actually come into effect, but the Ignite came down from Sona just before she went up into Repel, and also the reactive plays from Smart People was just completely on point. Currently 1 tower down, Dignitas still are ahead despite all that going out. However, if they carry on pushing in that bot lane, they should be able to cancel it out now. With Ezreal 003, Sona also in good shape. They might actually start being able to beat that lane of Dignitas because they have better trading power in the early game.
You know, the scary thing as well right now for Dignitas, I guess, is that Exeter just pulled off a double kill. Fair enough, his mid tower has gone down at the hands of Dignitas UK here, but bot lane is now coming under a lot of attack. Dizhack needs to be careful. I don't think he's going to get taken out here. Ace in the hole is not... Oh, in fact, it is up! Wow! I just went full retard. I thought Ace in the hole was not available, and then suddenly it just comes out. So that is going to be a kill. Ignore everything I just said. GG.
Never go full retard, Vince.
I just did.
But yeah, and also the shielding coming in from Yero just to increase the damage from Ace in the hole was absolutely perfect, and good lead as well with the Piltover, knew exactly how much damage they could do. Now just trying to siege this turret, Samus is trying his best really just to farm underneath it. True Shot Barrage comes down, and well, this is some decent damage on the turret. And this is very good indeed for them, because as long as they can get momentum, the momentum was set up by the mid tower going down. Where smart people were able to disrupt the momentum by picking up the double kill and also picking up the leads before. But now if they can maintain it, pick up another tower bottom, they can turn their attention to the top lane. And Impaled's already starting to do that. Zeron finds himself caught. He does not have the Blob Blitz passive. Nitrix going deep, but doesn't actually go completely underneath the turret. He had Dominus. I'm somewhat surprised he didn't fully commit. In fact, it looks like they were after the turret more than the kill.
Yeah, very much so, and objectives always do come before kills. And you are going to have Jerome just stack up the Elastic Slingshot again. I think I actually need to restart my client, so I may not have gone full retard after all, because all my ultimates are showing as being on cooldown. Like all of them. Right. So I think I've got a weird spectator bug, so I'm going to quickly restart the client here, Paul, so please take over in case I miss any of the action.
Yes, sure, no problem. So in the top lane, we did have Orianna moving herself on and up, but the fact that they did see her not in the mid lane meant they just backed on off, and good call coming in from Dignitas. Zero once again moving on to Nitrix, and Atrotas following up as well. He's on that Yisu again, he just doesn't have any CC, and also Nitrix is specking into that armor, so he just shrugged it off. And actually throws up the lap as well. Always nice to see. So meanwhile, up the Drake, we've got the push coming in from Dignitas, looking to pick this up as soon as they can, and also Twisted Fate coming in to assist. And it's really a matter of whether Dizhack and Samus can do something about it. True Shot Barrage is up, so they have a little glimmer of hope at the end of the tunnel. Fires it out, but way too late. Just tags Cook My Suck. But feel free to jump in anytime matters as soon as you're back into the game.
I'm going to be back in like 10 seconds, so just keep going.
Awesome. And the flash comes down from Cook My Sock, and Payload can follow up as well. Atrotos comes in, doesn't have the Highlander, lands the shockwave, but it just doesn't do enough damage at all to Impaler. And Repel comes up, escapes to the minion. Cook My Sock still looking for blood. Exeter gets pinned down with the yellow card, and Cook My Sock just backs on off. Both, everyone in that trade, in fact, dropping very low, and bot lane just trades some blows again. No one actually dropping 4-4, 2k advantage to Dignitas. Nothing really in it at all, though.
Yes, I am back in, and that problem has been resolved. So, yeah, when Caitlyn started Ultimate, I was like, what? She doesn't have her Ultimate for me. Yeah, what is going on here? But fortunately, it has been fixed now, and doesn't seem that I missed much apart from that Drake pickup, Pulse.
Yeah, we had the small trades in mid, and a couple auto attacks thrown down at the bottom, but nothing really to write home about. After still farming the jungle, he's currently 0-2 and 0. Hasn't got any ganks off, or at least no successful ganks off. But for the late game, he will still be strong. Destiny Gate straight on the bot lane. Dizhack gets himself caught. Crescendo lands space straight onto Cook My Sock and Yero. Samak still trading off though, and Cook My Sock falls. I think actually to the minion. I think the caster minion just threw an orb out and picked up the kill. MVP. And Samwise just clears up the minions, but that was unexpected.
Honor that caster minion.
Yeah.
It was a really nice exhaust lead as well from Yero. That the last auto attack from Samus did not finish off Cook My Sock, and he must have been thinking, oh god, I love Yero, and then the caster minion struck. And I'm pretty sure Cook My Sock has got a single tear rolling down his cheek right about now, because that was so close. But with all that action at bot lane, Nitrix is pushing top very aggressively right now. It is below 400 hit points. Could very well be going down. Zac is coming up though. This is going to be quite close. Nope, the tower's going to fall, and then looks like Nitrix is going to be just fine.
Yeah, and Dizhack immediately gets bursted down by Impaler though. Soundwise still backing off. He's completely out of mana. Already used another candle on net. but Atratos pops himself immediately into meditate. He will eventually die. It's not that strong. 50% reduction at this stage in the game is fairly decent, but not amazing. Salix is still being chased after by Impaler, and in fact the tower is now focusing Impaler as well. Yarrow following up will be tanking the tower. Auto attack comes down. It's come back to kill away from Impaler. I guess better safe than sorry though.
That was so close for both of them at bot lane. I thought for a second Yarrow was going to take another shot and die. Twisted Fate is being heavily smashed upon from Exeter. So again, we've just got end-to-end stuff with 4 players, 3 players in fact from Dignitas flashing up red. Caitlyn was just previously, but Samwise will be recalling Exeter is in all kinds of trouble though. Flash coming in and a Dominus from Nitrix. This should be a very dead Orianna, but she's managed to propel herself away with the dissonance. Will the card land? No, it won't. And now she has a Sanctuary of Sona here, and somehow, someway, Exeter survives by the skin of his teeth. Beautiful mechanical play.
Yeah, that was very close indeed, but mid lane, Let's Bounce comes in and secures the kill onto Cook My Suck. So not only did they not pick up the kill onto Exeter, but they got a kill in return. So Smart People definitely not out of this game, only 1 kill away from evening it up with Dignitas, but with the 3 tower advantage, they are over 4k ahead. So in Global Gold, they are in good shape. Also, they've got it centralized on Caitlyn and the jungler of Elise, who's already picked up the Spirit of the Ancient Golem, so not only will have the base damages, but is extremely tanky in their own right. And here comes the 3-man invade onto the blue buff. We'll see if Smart People can do something about it.
Well, they do have ward coverage down right now, but oh, actually, Yi just pops in and smites it out of the way. So 3 versus 2, Yi does not give a damn. He is going to steal away blue from that invade and be just fine in the process. Orianna needs to be careful because Destiny has been popped off it. They are going for her once again. If at first you don't succeed, try again. Cocoon's landed as well. There's Impaler from the side. This time Sona will not come to the rescue and actually burns Crescendo after the death goes down. So maybe a tiny bit wasted there. You could see what he was trying to do, but Ace the Hole comes out with the Howling Gale as well. Here comes the Spiderling and the Cocoon again. They're going to be looking for this tower dive, but realizing that both Dizhag and Artratos were too high, they will just back away. But they did claim the kill on Exeter.
This has been an incredibly aggressive game. 16 minutes in, already well into the roaming phase with all the outer towers down. They are trying to clear out the minion waves as fast as they can. Atratos, in fact, very good at that job with Alpha Strike. In fact, not maxing that first, maxing the Wuju style first, which is interesting. I guess it will give him slightly more sustained damage and a little bit more burst. But generally, you do see people still maxing the Alpha Strike. It's very strong. I'm not expecting to get the resets, I'm not entirely sure. But as people are still kind of understanding how Yi works, it makes sense for people to come up with different types of builds.
Yeah, it's one of those kind of characters right now where it's really down to the individual's interpretation of how to play him. So Artratos has not had a brilliant game thus far. He's not building damage. He's actually going tanky Yi right now with the Spirit of the Ancient Golem. Meanwhile, on mid though, Samus is going to get smacked upon by the Spiderling and pull himself back. And at top, it could be Nitrix falling down. Jerome is on his case right now. He's running away, but actually will manage to survive Pulse. Quite surprised that Jerome gave up the chase that early.
Yeah, he was actually trading off with him for a good like 10-15 seconds. I didn't think anyone was going to come of it because they're just so tanky and they don't do an incredible amount of damage. Jerome put both his ultimate, his and all his abilities and chased it all the way from that tower, the rubble, and will be putting some damage onto that turret of his own, the opposing one. But he's not the most amazing push in the world, as I think you can see.
Oh, X has just been slowed down a couple of times. The exhaust as well. It's going to be a 3 versus 2 situation. Make that a 3 versus 1 as X gets completely demolished in a split second. Now Artratos is the one being focused upon. That's going to be another double kill. And suddenly, out of nowhere, Samwise takes a 6-1 scoreline. And he is looking very strong. That's a minimum compared to an Infinity Edge Pulse. Big damage discrepancy. And that looks like it's going to be a free Drake as well.
Yeah, it's not looking pretty, and we do have some pings coming in from Zuram, just showing there might be a next one just around the corner in mid lane. In fact, he is still pushing up there, and they're going into a very strong split pushing strategy, pushing down mid as well, and they do have incredibly strong duelists, and they have Cook My Sock and Twisted Fate. And even if they do need to dive towers, they have Elise, who is 2-1-6 and has gone tanky. So Elise is very good at tanking down those turrets, and since they have duelists, it's going to be pushing anywhere and everywhere. And this is something we see a lot in Korea, where they just constantly split push, and it's just so strong. It's very difficult to deal with when you're on the back foot. So we'll see what they can do about it, but Atratus once again gets caught. This is the recurring theme of this game so far. He will be popping his Highlander, but that's a big ultimate to use.
It's just not looking good, is it, for Masti in this game? 0 and 4 has had little to zero impact, and I don't see that changing anytime soon, whereas Elise has been involved in 8 kills, Yi involved in absolutely 0. Never good reading for a jungler, and they aren't going to be going for this bot lane, trying to push this one down very aggressively. This Hack and Exter are coming round from the side, but it's too little too late as far as they're concerned. Cocoon comes in, Destiny's been popped as well, but I doubt they're going to be jumping on this. I think Destiny was used just in case the Cocoon connected there at the end.
Yeah, and Yi's actually gone for a very tanky build. I guess he's realised he's not going to become that hyper carrier, the guy who 1v4s your team this game, so he's just opting to go for a more tanky build, more utility, and hopefully just get in the faces and soak up some damage. But even so, they have shut down Yi, and that's kind of a good showing as they have shut him down because he hasn't gone towards that damage build, which is good from Dignitas. They are currently lacking out on damage, and Exter, because he keeps getting caught out at the beginning of each of these fights, as you already mentioned, the discrepancy between the item builds of the AD carries, just kind of winning all over the board on each one of their roles.
Yeah, absolutely, and he's just one of those characters. He's high risk, high reward. Like you mentioned earlier in Champion Select with Overpower, he got quadra kill basically in the 1 versus 4. But the flip side of that is if he goes behind, he's going to be absolutely useless. He's not going to be having any presence on the map whatsoever. If he darts out from the bushes with the items he's currently got, he's not going to be very scary. And I think Caitlyn can easily 1 versus 1 right now, and that's not a case that you want you to be in. The Elastic Slingshot coming across from Jerome, potentially some fairly kind of...
Metas, I assume you've just disappeared, so okay, I'm gonna take over. Cook my son. Now looking for the flash, actually lands it onto Dishype before he gets his flash up, picks up that kill, 3 for 1. And I hope that Metas gets back at some point in the near future, but Zach also dropped into his passive, also falls. And 4 and 0 trade, in fact pushing them so far into the lead, they actually go for the surrender. And I think that was Metas returning into the channel, so how's it going?
Oh, GG, my internet dropped. Sorry about that. I was in the middle of a fight as well, and I come back and it's game over.
Yep.
Best time in EU.
A very decisive victory right there, Metas. They just played it well, and the fact they were so far ahead at that stage, it didn't really matter what smart people did. They had too many bad team fights leading up to that one, and then ultimately that lost them the game. So we will be jumping into the second game very shortly, guys. I'm very interested to see if smart people bring out a different composition, as they do every single game. We've seen it every single time they play a new game. It's going to be something different. So this didn't work, but maybe they'll bring out something that will. So until next game, guys, we will see you soon.
Summertime through blue and white, where I can fly.